Hi there, just Matt. Hope you're well. Listen, just a quick video about caffeine and performance. Get a lot of questions about caffeine because when I'm working with people and trying to help them improve their sort of everyday health, we do look to reduce caffeine, take it out of the system. Many people suffer with and they don't realize it, but it's adrenal fatigue, and it's a fatigue placed on the adrenals, and it causes a sort of a deficiency in vitamin C. And the net result of that is kind of they can never really get up for anything, and they never really switch off. So their adrenal system kind of flatlines, and eventually they just can't perform. But going sort of in line with the question that I've got now, which is more from a performance perspective, is caffeine beneficial for performance? And yes, there is a lot of evidence to suggest that caffeine helps endurance athletes, because basically what it does is it helps the body to uptake more fuel during an endurance event. Okay, so it enables the liver to digest more carbohydrate than it would. In some athletes, and the better trained they are, the more they can actually take up. So the better trained they are, they can take caffeine on. They don't overdose caffeine, but the more they can then take on of carbohydrate as well. So there's only a certain amount of glycogen that's ever available. Once it's used up, muscle fatigue sets in. You see, so once they've used caffeine, they can obviously take more on, and then the fatigue will obviously hopefully be abstained for a bit. Um, what it does as well is basically it's known as glycogen sparing. It helps us to use fat as a fuel. Um, and also by using fat, you tend to be more aerobic, so therefore you don't produce the same amount of waste products as you would if you were being anaerobic, which is without oxygen, and then you produce a lot of byproducts, which are acidic and cause cramp and those kind of things. So other another benefit of it, if you like. Um, it also helps to there is a lot of evidence to show that it does help to reduce, sorry, not reduce, help sort of with the release of endorphins, which are pain reducing. Okay, so that actually helps with sort of the reduction of mental fatigue as well. In terms of actual power, because obviously power is kind of the golden standard when it comes to performance. Glycogen sparing obviously is good short term. Intense aerobic exercises, as well as like long endurance, so like things like Ironman, marathons, those kind of things. Caffeine has a major benefit there because it reduces lactic acid. Um, as I sort of mentioned earlier, hydrogen ions, those kind of acidic things, um, cause that burning sensation. And actually, in the University of Illinois in 2009, there was a study which showed that 300 milligrams of caffeine taken prior to a workout actually reduced the burning effects felt by subjects in the study. Um, Caffeine also seems to sort of affect the ratio of calcium and potassium ions in the cells, which makes it easier for the cells to contract and produce more power, because calcium is involved in the binding of the muscle fibers so if we're doing an exercise, say it's just like a squat, as those muscle fibers contract, that calcium is needed there. So obviously, over a long period of time, calcium has an effect there. So sparing that and helping that with caffeine is a good thing. Caffeine also works in the central nervous system. Okay, so it promotes kind of good neural signals, and it decreases sort of perceptions of fatigue and muscle pain. It has been demonstrated to improve physical performance in different sports, whilst also delaying fatigue. Different sports, so endurance athletes by sort of 3 or 4%, strength and sports performance by 20%. So it's not just endurance. Sprinters, they found their weightlifters, and also what it does as well is it helps with the fatigue. So like, the rate of exertion, so your perceived exertion, so how hard you're working, and how hard you think you're working. So it helps with that as well in terms of reducing that. So caffeine, from a health perspective, you wouldn't be using it all the time, but definitely has benefits. So in answer to the question that I had, yes, caffeine does help, and hopefully I've given you a few reasons as to why. Okay, hope that helps. Cheers, bye.